Thanks for staying with us. Why can you not allow us to have a segment?
telling
Because she's
you.
always just talking.
I knew you would talk.
Yes, okay, yes. Are you sure that your accord did not transfer to you?
Oh, no.
Anyways, welcome with us, Mary Bertha Okon, and we know you are a holistic psychotherapist, a podcaster, a radio presenter, and so much more. Tell us a bit about yourself. People are just this fine woman that are with the ladies of your view. Tell us a bit about yourself.
I was born to Ghanaian parents.
Okay.
I grew up in Germany.
Nice.
Met my husband in Germany, and he exported me to Nigeria.
Is it Nigerian?
So yes, so I'm Nigerian now.
Okay.
Yes.
Fantastic. So how did this holistic psychotherapy start? What is it exactly?
I started back in Port Harcourt 2010, 11, and it was just basic therapy, basic metaphysical counseling. That's a whole different thing.
Metaphysical.
Yes,
Sounds
metaphysical.
like jazz.
That's what Obi Ajulu kind of things.
We could get there if you want to. But after studying psychology, psychotherapy, all of that, and then being in Nigeria, I found, working with priests and pastors, that most people went to churches when really they needed therapy. Yeah. So I ended up, that's how it started, that the pastors and the priests I knew would send me people to actually do therapy sessions, because they were there for cast and bind, and they were crying on the floor, wailing, and they probably lost someone, and they were going through trauma, and they were in church looking for deliverance. Meanwhile, they just needed to be talked through pain and how to deal with the loss, things like that. So that started okay, how do I integrate psychotherapy with the metaphysical? How you integrate people in the grand scheme of things in their lives. So you don't do therapy in isolation, just the book that I read, the research and the findings, application and coping mechanisms. I want to apply it, I try to apply it culturally so that people can actually find healing in a cultural way, not just the book I read and came. How do I make it fit to apply to you, Miriam, to apply to her? Still using the book foundation, but I'm now very much considerate of your spirituality and who you are in the grand scheme of as a person.
Wow. I'm getting
I find a lot of people
I need clarity on this metaphysical. Go ahead.
Okay.
That
So
metaphysical is where I'm going.
Okay.
So I find a lot of people say that they're therapists, and then while going through therapy with you, sort of, I don't know whether they do this the training, but mostly here, they deviate entirely into spirituality, and particularly one religion. So I am Muslim. You can't do therapy for me and invalidate my beliefs.
Right.
There will be clashes, and you're telling me what I have believed over the years is as a result of the problems I have, and I'm disagreeing. Of course, we're clashing.
Yeah.
And what you consider therapy is that I must disbelieve everything to start afresh, and I'm not going to sit with you to help me through that problem. And we get that all the time here. So when you say metaphysical, is it that when no matter where that person is coming from, you're able to help the person see the problem, solve the problem, as opposed to what we call change their entire personality or being because you think that's the problem? I don't know who stops that training, but I lost a friend who was able to do therapy for no matter who the divide was, and I've not been able to find someone who could do that for a while. And I'm wondering who they train these people? Who says that your beliefs cannot work for the things that you want, cannot change you in trauma? If you're going through grief, cannot help you through? Why do you have to invalidate it and say, can you help a person no matter where they stand and what their beliefs are?
So if you're a professional psychotherapist, your foundation is psychology. There are certain certificates you can get without having your foundation psychology. If you want to be a clinical psych, you have to have a foundation in psych. You have to have your BSc in psych, and you build on, it's like a medical doctor, you do your medical and then you add up. So if you've had experience with someone who deviated into spirituality, they're now doing was their foundation psychology? Because I can do only psychology with you, but then personally I feel your healing or your recovery would take much longer if I'm able to get to the word you use, being. You are a being. Whether you are Islam, whether you are Buddhist, whatever you are, we are all beings in this room. If I can talk to your being, if I can make you understand that we're all beings irrespective of our beliefs. Your belief is your belief. But when you sleep and you are unconscious, you don't know you're asleep until you wake up. She has the same experience. I have the same. We all do sleep. We lose consciousness. That's our being. We have a common experience as beings.
Okay.
And I build on that.
Okay.
Not your beliefs when you're awake.
Is a psychologist, you're a
Psychotherapist.
psychotherapist. Is that different from a psychoanalyst?
It's a type of therapy that you use. So we have different modules you use to help people. So you can do psychoanalyst, yes, but that is a part of the, that is one of the styles you use for therapy.
Because of time, I want us to get a few questions.
So, there's something, well, I was just reading through your info. It talks about narrative therapy and healing through storytelling. Could you tell us a little bit about that?
Yes, I do. I've started with the podcast with that especially, where talking is therapy.
Okay.
A lot of people in relationships, in life events, corporate events, are holding so many things down. They can't have a safe space to talk about, or someone to guide them through their emotions to come out of it. So talking therapy, or on my podcast where we do, where the slogan is healing souls, one story at a time, is I'm giving you the safe space to talk about your experience.
So you believe that some people, because they're unable to tell their story, don't find healing?
How many people have gone through rape and they've suffered for decades because they couldn't tell a soul about it?
Okay.
So the mere fact that you're able to let it out, someone to listen to you, understand, empathize what we've been through, and help you cope with the trauma, with the recurrence of the memory of what happened, and how to navigate these emotions and live a successful life, or even be able to look at sex differently.
Some people will say women talk a lot. They talk about all their issues. They're having issues in their marital, whatever. You hear about it, but you never hear the men. So would you say this? Have you tried it? Does it work more for men?
My podcast aired the episode 2, I believe. It was a father in his, I think he's almost in his 60s, very handsome man, who battled depression for 20 years.
Wow.
And his experience in marriage as a father working is worth listening to. So I'm encouraging on the podcast to have men able to speak up and help other men to also speak up, because the rate of suicide is really going up, research, because the platform is not given for them to express themselves, is not safe, judgmental.
Yes.
So you want to, I'm not judging you, just let me hear your story. If you want to talk about it afterwards, fair. If you don't,
Let me ask you this question, because a lot of people feel like therapy doesn't really work in Nigeria because of our various
beliefs, exactly.
And our peculiar circumstances. You know, everything, like, we want to snap out of it, you know. And we always try to, because even some people have gone to therapy, and they find it difficult to submit their consciousness to somebody else. They find it difficult, like, what is this here? What else can you go see? You know. So how do you help people like that who they block their mind from receiving or being receptive to a therapeutic experience?
I can't help you unless you want to help yourself. I can only help if you're ready to help yourself. You have to come to that point of distress and know that, okay, it's either I get help or I'm sinking. So you don't force people to do therapy. When you have an addict that is going through issues, we've had several addicts when I was with Luth, you can't help them. You are in the ward and they are in the ward. for months and months and months. Families abandon them at the ward. If you go to Luth, there are patients there still that have been abandoned because parents don't know what to do with them. So unless the person is ready for help, no one, even a psychiatrist with medications, can help you.
Mary.
Yes, dear.
There's an awareness that a person gets before they can say, okay, this is what I need therapy. At what point do you help the person get to that point of awareness? Or is it totally impossible?
Or can you help someone to get to that awareness?
Yes, to get to that awareness before. You know, we are not therapists, so we just, now small word, they tell people, we get sense, you know, and we keep telling the baby, small word, you know, you get sense. You know, how do you get the person to that point where you get sense?
Okay.
Before you know you can.
From experience, I haven't done this over the years. It's family members and loved ones that have to intervene. In most cases, when you have a husband who can't get up out of bed or keeps skipping going to work.
Wow. That's just tough.
Yeah. So this man on the podcast, his wife used to, he said it, she would drag me by the leg and pull me off the bed, and he would resist. That's a matured man, leadership position on cross-posting, not local job. And it was a genetic one. We found out later it was genetic, you know. So when you know in your family you have certain genetic issues that may cause mental health problems, as a parent, as a sister, whoever, you want to intervene quicker. If you're a spouse and you are aware there's something in the family that may trigger or that may come out at some point, once you see the symptoms, so you want to educate yourself, that's good. You want to educate yourself to know the symptoms of certain mental health issues. You know, the luminous, not wanting to get out of bed, cutting out friends, not wanting to be out and about anymore. You know, they literally, you shut down from wanting to be with friends and do the normal things they do. So you'd know these people, you know their routines, the lifestyle. So when you start seeing a change in behavior, that is the norm.
We have to wrap up because someone said something that is really important, but I'm not sure you have time to address it because what you started with that, the reason why a lot of people go to churches for certain things.
Yeah.
And someone was trying to allude here to say that the reason why many of us are either Christians or Muslims is because we have psychological problems, not because we actually wanted to find God.
Yes.
That's why.
But there's an underlying psychological problem.
So the word with that is coping. They use spirituality and going to church to cope with their issues.
Some, not necessarily. Yeah,
so they go there looking for solace, looking for intervention from somewhere, miraculous intervention. Yes. Some go to the GOs and their wives and same problem, marital issues. Yes. You're not meant to go to them for marital issues, really.
Okay.
They are professionals for marital issues.
So even they are the problem who receive these people because they don't have
they're not qualifications. They are solving problems. Trust me, Weki.
You know, so you have someone that has a marital problem, for example. If you look at it as a therapist, you see there are traumatic issues that may be causing a sexual problem. But they'll go to church and complain that he or she doesn't want to do this, doesn't want to do that, it's a problem, marital issues, now he's going out to do this or she's going out to do that. But then we didn't even find out. The pastor doesn't have the capacity to find out why that person did not want to do that. Maybe there was an assault. Maybe there was an underlying issue way back in childhood that person cannot disclose. But if you do talk to them one-on-one, you find out that was the issue.
We have to wrap up. I wanted to go personal. That's a Ghana lady.
German.
Married to Nigerian.
A global.
Yes, a global citizen.
When did you move to Nigeria?
I came 2001 July.
How has Nigeria been treating you?
You can see.
Oh, that's so nice.
It's about you.
How long have you been married to your husband? How many years?
I am 25 next week, 25 years.
Me, the final question.
We have 4 children.
Ooh, beautiful.
Wow, you look amazing.
Ghana Jollof or Nigeria Jollof?
Hello.
What?
It's Nigerian.
She can't say
that's why
I plead the fifth.
That's all we can take on today's show. Thank you so much. It was a pleasure having you on the show.
It was a pleasure.
Have a great day. We'll see you tomorrow. Bye for now.
Thank you.